post it on our website. Okay. Okay, great. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Anjali Khanna. I'm the program assistant for the Westchester Power program. I'm joined online by Nick Tedrow. He's the senior program manager for the Westchester Power program. So we'll talk about the what the program is, and then the current contract, and then the next contract that's set to begin December 1st. And then we'll have time for questions at the end. Get rid of this too. Okay. Sorry. Okay, there we go. So to start, Westchester Power is one of the programs under Sustainable Westchester, which is a nonprofit consortium of 44 of the 45 cities, towns, and villages in Westchester County and the county itself. And Sustainable Westchester runs a bunch of different sustainability-focused initiatives throughout the county, including all the ones on the screen. Westchester Power in particular works in 29 of those municipalities, serving around 140,000 residents and small businesses. And for why energy choice matters, as you can see in this chart, residential and commercial energy consumption are two major components of carbon emissions, and carbon emissions are driving climate change. And as we continue to emit, the climate change will only get worse. In New York State, the temperatures are increasing at a higher rate than the average across the United States. And with higher temperatures, there can be more precipitation. And these heavy rains and heavier storms are something we've already started to see throughout this summer. All of these pictures are impacts from flooding. I mean, pretty much like within the past 2 months. The first two are from that big storm on September 23rd. And then this was more recently in Tarrytown on October 21st. But, you know, that cut down the train line. And there's so much other things that negative effects of flooding. And then climate change is also an equity issue. The changes that come from, you know, global warming and everything like that will disproportionately impact low-income communities and communities that are already facing societal inequities. It will compound the health conditions from, you know, the societal determinants of health and financial hardships, as these groups are less able to adapt to a changing climate as others are. And then that's where Sustainable Westchester hopes to work as a call to action to build healthy and resilient communities of the future by mitigating climate change to create a secure and sustainable future, enabling access to affordable, clean, and renewable power that is locally controlled to improve air quality and environmental conditions, to ensure better health outcomes for residents and boost the economy and create green jobs that enhance community growth opportunities. And now for Westchester Power. So Westchester Power is a community choice aggregation, or a CCA. And with the CCA, municipalities can take control of their default supplier by passing a local law to choose a different default supplier rather than the utility. So here that's NYSEG. And then Westchester Power uses the bulk buying power of everyone in the municipality to secure a fixed rate contract for however long the contract is. And this makes renewable energy more accessible to residents. You don't have to go through, you know, putting solar on your house or anything like that. You just sign up for the program and you have access to 50% or 100% renewable energy to take action for climate change. The fixed rate that is provided through this program provides stability. You can be more knowledgeable about your bills every month, and you can avoid the volatility of the energy market. And then you'll also be contributing to more community investments through all the other programming that Sustainable Westchester runs. So some key features of the program are that it works on an opt-out format. So all eligible residents will automatically be enrolled in the program. That helps us maximize the buying power of everyone. And then everyone has the choice to opt out and go back to the utility or choose any other supplier they would like. It's consumer friendly. So again, you can opt in or out at any time. There's never any fees or penalties, and you can opt in or out as much as you would like. And there are currently 2 supply options for the contract. There's a 100% renewable and a default, and a standard, which is the default for Somers. In the next contract, there's going to be 3 supply options: a 50% renewable energy option, a 100% renewable energy, and then the standard will still be the default for Somers. And savings are not guaranteed through this program. And that's just because NYSEG has, you know, variable energy rates that change with however the energy market is going. So we can't predict what those rates will be. And with that, we can't say whether these rates will be higher or lower. So where Westchester Power fits into the electric industry overall, Westchester Power contracts and administers the electricity supply. And then that gets delivered to you by NYSEG. And then you as the consumer have the choice of where you get your electricity from. So you can sort of think about that as deciding who is generating the electricity on your behalf. But whoever you choose, it will always be delivered from NYSEG. That you don't really have choice in. And then this is just a way to check if you're in Westchester Power. On your bill, you'll see on the first page, it will say, or on your account summary section, it will say Constellation New Energy. And then I'll get more into it in a couple slides, but that's going to change to Direct Energy because Direct Energy is taking over for the next contract. And then you'll have a 5th page of your bill that outlines your own ESCO or your energy service company. So the benefits of Westchester Power are that it is a vetted community program. It allows you to engage with the energy market without having to navigate the confusing energy service companies. And you can trust this company. It provides cost control and stability through the fixed rates, and then advocacy and education through information sessions like these to try and help people understand energy and their energy bills, and then also mitigating climate change to make a more sustainable future. And renewable program participants have made a huge impact. In 2022, they mitigated 219,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, which has roughly the same impact as taking 49,000 cars off the road for a year, or 3.6 million tree seedlings grown for 10 years. And it's also helping meet New York State climate goals of 70% renewable energy by 2030 and 0 emissions by 2040. Okay, so for the current contract, the supplier is Constellation, as you saw in that bill, and the 100% renewable energy option is 10.328 cents per kilowatt hour, and the standard supply option is 8.885 cents per kilowatt hour. And this was an 18-month contract that started back in March of 2022 and is going to end with your first meter reads on December if you're in the program. And then for the next contract, it's going to be with Direct Energy, and the 100% renewable option is going to be 13.12 cents per kilowatt hour. The 50% renewable option is going to be 12.16 cents per kilowatt hour, and the standard supply option will be 11.2 cents per kilowatt hour. And this is the default option here in Somers. So all eligible residents will automatically be enrolled into the standard supply option. And even if you've made a change in the past to opt up to the 100% option, you would have to do that again if you wanted renewable energy. And then this is going to be a 12-month contract. So it starts again with your first meter reads of December this year, and then we'll go until your first meter reads of December next year. And then just as a note, the 12-month trailing average at the time of contracting was 12.328 or 38 cents per kilowatt hour. This isn't really a good measure. This is a historic measure of what NYSEG rates were for the past 12 months. And this was contracted back in June. So from their, June 2022 rates to July 2023 rates. But yeah, that's just there. But going forward, it's hard to predict what those rates will be. Just the energy market is so volatile and you never really know where it's going to go or how NYSEG will play out. So some key dates to look at is we sent out the letters on October 16th. So those should have been received by all residents by now. And then November 15th is the end of the 30-day opt-out period. You can still opt out at any time. It's just if you opt out by November 15th, then you won't ever be switched from NYSEG to Direct Energy. And then on November 30th, the current contract ends, and then December 1st, the next contract picks up. So this is just an example of what that letter looks like. We send it in this envelope to make sure we're trying to get people to open it and see that it's important. And then this little card on the side, that's an opt-out card that's sent in the letter. So if you were looking to opt out, you can just fill out that card and send it back, and then you won't be enrolled in the program. But if you wanted to change supply, you can't use that. You would have to use one of these other options. So we have an online form on our website, and you can go to that to change supply. You can also opt out by any of these methods, but you can't change supply. You can only opt out using the card on the other screen. Sorry, that was unclear. Let me rephrase. So this card on the other screen only works for opting out, and these options work for opting out or changing supply. So then you can also email us at westchesterpower@sustainablewestchester.org or call us at 914-242-4725 and select option 3 for Westchester Power. Okay, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Yeah.
I'm a resident of Heritage Hills, and to the best of my knowledge, no one there received a letter.
Yeah, so most people in Heritage Hills are on day-night meters, which means that they're not automatically eligible. So then they don't get the letter. It's only for automatically eligible, but you're still able to opt in. It's only because Westchester Power doesn't offer the same product as a day-night. You know, we don't have day-night rates. We only have the fixed rate. So even if you opted in with your day-night meter, you would get that fixed rate on your both day and night section of your bill.
So how would I know to opt in or opt out or any of that? And also, I just wanted to raise the point. I bought my unit 2 years ago. The previous owner had Constellation as a provider with a budget billing plan.
Mm-hmm.
When I tried to speak to them about my energy usage, there was no contract in my name with them. All they had was the previous owner's name for my service address, and the account was closed.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been like jumping through hoops, and I'm just concerned now that we're gonna have a totally brand new provider, that I'm gonna be in a similar situation.
Okay, so were you enrolled with Constellation in the end, or?
I just bought the condo and contacted NYSEG about electricity. I had defaulted, I guess, to Constellation on a budget billing plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because NYSEG did not send any usage for 2 to 3 months, Constellation canceled the budget billing with no notification, and I received a $1,400 bill last February. I've been trying to get some sort of resolution about this pretty much since February.
Yeah.
I've been in touch with NYSEG, they said it's Constellation. Constellation says, I don't have an active account with them. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that after, and then I can
Okay.
work through getting Constellation to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just noticed if I read the information correctly, that the cost for 100% renewable has gone up about 3 cents from last year.
Yep, that's correct.
I was wondering why that is, but there are less people signing up, or it's just getting more expensive.
It's getting more expensive. So the way that we get renewable energy is through renewable energy certificates. And so that's through, it's sold through, it's called NIGATs, which I can't really remember what that stands for right now. But it's
your
just
generation
like,
attribute tracking system.
oh yeah, thank you. But yeah, then they're sold through NIGATs, and there's more demand for them now than there was previously. So the price of RECs have gone up, and then that makes the renewable supply options more expensive.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation, though. The more people that want it, the more expensive it's going to get.
Mhm.
It should be the other way around.
Yeah, so they're working on that. They're trying to get more renewable energy into the grid in New York State, but just the way it is just how, you know, with supply and demand,
Right.
those prices can go up, and yeah, it's quite
Mhm.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a question online too after this one.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
So I go over a few of the dates in here,
Mhm.
as of December 1st. What was the default rate
Here,
that will be effective December?
so yeah, the default is 11.2 cents per kilowatt hour.
Per kilowatt hour?
Mhm.
How come, I'm looking at my bill and for the current bill, and how come it says 0.088?
Oh,
Seems
so,
like,
yeah,
that seems like it's so much less. Am I reading it wrong?
so yeah, that would be 8 cents per kilowatt hour.
It's 8 cents.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
So
looking
it
at
is
dollars
still-
per kilowatt hour on your bill. It shows up as dollars per kilowatt hour on your bill. That's why there's a decimal difference.
And that's 8 cents. So it's almost 2.5 cents.
Mhm.
What was the, that was gonna go up to that? What if you don't opt into the contract, or if you opt out and you get the NYSEG rate, you know what that means? Or that's a variable rate?
Yeah, that's a
What
very,
did the average over the past year? You know, way to go.
Yeah, so they have updated their rates since then. So their most recent one, I think from to October of 2023, from September 2022 to or however that works, was 9.7651 cents. So it was still up there, but then again, you can't really use those to predict what it will be in the future, just because that's a historic rate and the energy market is always like moving, but that was what they were putting in
So,
October.
For the past year, the average rate, the standard rate was less costly, but it's going up 2.5 cents.
Yeah.
And you don't know what the NICEAG rate would be, or even what they project for the next year.
Well, they've said that their rates are going to go up as well. I think they released something saying it's going up by like $30 as compared to the rates last year, or like $30 on a bill. And last year their rates were very expensive. Like in January, they were like 22 cents per kilowatt hour. So just having like a fixed rate through that time could be very
Winter
helpful.
time is always very volatile, and NICEAG generally jumps up. I think last winter they were like 20 something cents.
Okay, and then you said there was a question online.
Yeah, Ryan, you want to go ahead? Oh, and I missed some chatter here, I think.
Yeah, sure. So first I have a kind of a comment. I'm glad that someone there at the library now mentioned that Heritage Hills didn't get the memo. So I live in Heritage Hills and I did, but that's because when I moved here, I moved from Peekskill and I was part of the Sustainable Westchester for many years over there. So, and I enjoy the program and made sure that I switched to that voluntarily when I moved here. I would suggest then a request, and if you are already planning this, I apologize, but for residents, regardless of where they are, but if if I understand what you're saying, that people who have a day-night meter with NICEAG don't automatically get the notice. Hopefully you guys can bypass that and just send it to everyone anyways, especially because in Heritage Hills, a lot of the units, mine included, are all electric, meaning in the winter, we're using tons of electric to heat. And that's where I think the true value of the fixed rate plans comes into play. So I just feel bad then knowing that there's probably a lot of folks who could be saving money, but just probably aren't aware because they're not getting these notices. My question though was just, and this might have been what other folks had been asking as well, is to try to get some insight into how these contracts and their rates are pinpointed. And thankfully, being in Somers, I'm in NICEAG territory and looking at the historical rates, it's not that bad, but I mean, I can't imagine anyone in the Con Ed territory is electing to be part of this. And I know that's obviously not relevant for this, I apologize, but it just makes me wonder because the Con Ed contract for the current contract, it's been vastly above the Con Ed rates the whole time. So again, even though it's not relevant, I hope you can still shed some light as to why the Con Ed rate is so high. And that just makes me kind of concerned for the future NICEAG contracts because they don't seem to always be competitive, if that makes sense.
You want me to try and take that one, Anjali?
Oh, sure.
So there's a lot to unpack there. I'm going to start just with the first thing you said, even though it wasn't part of your question, is we can't just kind of give people with day-night meters the product. It's a consumer protection thing where we can only offer a default product to people on the basis that we're offering them something exactly like what they get from the utility currently. So right now we only offer this default product, so we can only really offer a default, offer the product on an opt-out basis to folks who get a default product standard rate from NICEAG. So folks who are on that day-night meter, they have a different rate structure, and since we cannot offer a day rate and a night rate in the structure of what they give and receive now, we can't automatically enroll them in this program. So it has to be an apples to apples product situation. And
so I don't mean to interrupt, but I understand that, yes, you're saying that now the stuff that's sent out is the auto enroll and opt out. I guess I meant if Sustainable Westchester would just send a notice to folks letting them know. I mean, I can also reach out to some of the organizations here at Heritage Hills because I think it's just something that the residents should be aware of.
Sure.
Not that they should be automatically enrolled, because I understand that would be stepping on toes that you guys can't do, but they should be
Right.
notified.
Yeah, we definitely encourage folks to sign up, organically on their own if they want to take advantage of that. Which, yeah, in the case of folks like you and Heritage Hills with the all electric situation, it can be very beneficial. It was especially being on a fixed rate. And we were there at Heritage Hills last week or the week before, and maybe trying to go there again sometime soon. So it's a big community, obviously. So those things come through the community center and pass by people without them noticing also sometimes. So definitely let's talk more about that. We'll be out there. We talk to folks there a lot, and we'll get into that. In terms of the contracting, and how we get to rates and generally how the process, I'll start with how the process works for everything so far, and then I'll just touch on the Con Ed and why that's a little bit of an outlier compared to our historical performance with NICEAG and even with Con Ed. We've not had a contract like this prior, but in general, what we do is we go out to the private ESCO market, these energy service companies who are licensed to do retail energy supply, sales, and service out there in New York State. And we release an RFP, a request for proposal, alerting these out there that there's an opportunity to come and be awarded the contract to supply our communities here in Westchester. And of course, these are big aggregations, as they're called, groups of municipalities, communities. So yours is 5 communities up there in the NICEAG area. The Con Ed one is 24, and then Yonkers is, a big enough thing. It does its own thing, but a lot of customers in general, right? So these are big opportunities for suppliers to come out and try and win our business. So what we do is we release these RFPs, folks respond, and then, some set of companies come to a live auction where they're actually bidding against each other for the right to be our supplier. So what we do is it's an online platform thing. The folks who want to try and compete for the contract to be the supplier, they come online and we, tell them, all right, we're going to be taking offers on 12-month contracts, 18-month contracts, 24-month contracts, get a variety of different term lengths. And then we go through those term lengths and they bid against each other, on each of those term lengths and for the contract to ultimately be awarded. So, the process is supposed to bear a lot of benefit when we talk about, like in the presentation, the power of our community buying power. That's an attractive thing for these businesses. So the process of them competing against each other, bidding each other down in this live auction environment makes us feel like we get the very best competitively priced offers that we could possibly get at that point in time. So when we talk about this NICEAG contract, excuse me for 1 second. Excuse me. We went out and did this activity back in the summertime. And at that point of the time, Direct Energy, Constellation were involved with that. And this time around, we got the best value at 12 months. From Direct Energy, and that was what the results of the bid were telling us about what the market says for energy looking out into the future. So all of that energy, in order to buy to give you all a fixed rate, that means whoever wins the bid, they are locking in on the price at that point in time. They're buying all the energy they need for those 12 months at the price point of that time. So that guarantees the fixed rate, right? So if you're going variable like a NICEAG, they're providing energy continuously to a roll of customers. So they're always needing to, be buying energy as they're moving along. So as that market goes up and down, their price goes up and down as well. Whereas again, with a fixed rate, in order to offer that, we're locking in at a price, at a point in time, which is what was the best price we could get at that time in the summertime when we got this. So just in terms of Con Ed, there's a lot that's gone into play here in recent years, why not just energy prices, but prices for a lot of things, as folks I'm sure will hear of, have gone up pretty significantly over the last few years. A lot of geopolitical things like the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and just other kind of general supply demand craziness has made electricity prices particularly volatile. So With the Con Ed contract, when we renewed that one, the one they're in now, we were sort of at this point where we were living at the height of all of that uncertainty. And we just ended up being where, we kind of got caught in a spot where we're renewing the contract at a point where the market had gone to a height that was the highest in the last 20 years almost. So just a little bit of bad timing, unfortunately, and we're restricted with the way, we have to, handle these renewal processes and get these new contracts. So it was really just a, kind of a bad luck situation more than anything else, kind of unprecedented situation and buying at a time that was unfortunately least optimal out of necessity based on the timing and restrictions we were under. So that's why you're seeing, if you look at that Con Ed contract, the rates just being consistently higher because things have cooled down a little bit. It's still high and it's still volatile, but not like it was at that peak. So, historically outside of that Con Ed contract for NYSEG and for Con Ed, our rates have been pretty competitive overall. And yeah, I think someone else was noting like the standard rate. And this, if we look at our last NYSEG contract, the one we're exiting right now, our standard rate on the average even has been a bit better. And then our renewable, which is a higher price premium product, like Anjali was saying, was basically right there, I think, as well, or not too far off of the dirty default from NYSEG. So typically we try to, we don't see any kind of crazy gap like we are with Con Ed now, but it certainly was a lesson learned in a lot of ways, and we're, looking to diversify and kind of shake up the way we operate here going into the future. So that was a long-winded answer, but I hope it was useful for folks.
Yes, yeah, no, I appreciate it. I just hope that it doesn't deter folks from keeping in program or even opting in, because I think when the rates are competitive, I just think it's a good program to incentivize people to, go with this green energy movement. So anyways, yes, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, obviously some people are willing to pay a premium for green energy anyway. So there's some set of folks like that who aren't too averse to the price. And then the fixed rate, even if it is a bit higher, people do and have found over the years that it is just really valuable to be insulated from those 15-cent spikes from the utility if they should so happen. So there's still value to be had there, I think, is what we're saying with the Con Ed folks.
Okay, I think we have a couple more questions in here. Yeah.
Who is the gentleman?
Oh, this is Nick Tedrow. He's the senior program manager for the Westchester Power program.
Did I hear him say he's going to Heritage Hill?
Oh yeah.
Okay. When is this? Can I have that information? Because
Yeah, I'll have that for you.
Okay.
I can give that to you after. I don't know off the top of my head, but I think November 22nd.
Is the bill that you show at the beginning,
Mhm.
for most customer who will apply for it, I would like to see a breakdown of where is it going in the component of that first bill. Lead us to the options that are available. It make it clearer for people who are at the kindergarten level like me. You guys are in the jobs, you are experienced with it.
Mhm.
I know you got work hard to lower the rate. I just want to know, and I guess most of the people here want to know what are the options and what are the probability of the rate in the next year to be. Put it out as a flow chart. Option
Oh,
one,
yeah.
option two, option three, something that focus to the customer like us. Customer focus, tell us from our perspective, not from you expert,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah, so these will be the rates. And if you're with Westchester Power, these rates will stay the same for the entire year. So they won't change until your first meter reads of December 2024. So you could choose any of these options if you wanted. They're all available to you, or you can choose to opt out and go with the NYSEG variable rate, which that I can't provide much clarity on just because I don't know what that's gonna be. But these are fixed, so we are sure these will be like this for the entire.
So my question is, for those people who don't know and don't out,
Mhm.
what would they be? Where would they be?
They would be in the standard supply option, so they'll be in the default.
I see.
Yeah.
So like the bill you show that has NYSEG
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
constellation.
yeah.
if they don't show up here, they don't mail in this card, you mean they're going to be on the stand up supply option?
Yeah,
Okay. And if they opt in, where would they be?
you could choose any, if you wanted to opt in, you could opt into any of the options. They're all available to you. So when you fill out the form or when you email us, we'll just ask you which supply option would you like, and then you'll get enrolled into that option.
Okay, so my friend said she didn't show up because she figured that she got the same thing, she didn't change. Does that mean that not going to have Constellation anymore?
No, she won't have Constellation anymore. She'll have Direct Energy.
She doesn't know that.
We
Okay.
don't have Constellation because there's no more contract with them after December.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, it's not very clear in the letter.
Yeah, the letter is,
So-
it's like a template letter that we have to use. So we can't change the way that the letter is formatted, but it is very confusing.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
what
letter the state makes us use.
If you have to obey to the legal, legit or whatever it is, add another page that explain it in the common term instead of lawyers' terms, okay?
Yeah,
Because you want to get your work done. The important thing is you get your point across, educate us, we make the move and not making the wrong mistake. You look at what happened in Maine right now, they're fighting by tomorrow to vote in or out
Yeah.
because the bill was like $1,000 a month.
yeah,
I don't want to have anyone choose things for me that have no clue where we're going. Okay, so as a taxpayer, resident of this county and consumer, communication is important. You know, forget about the lawyer. You have to do what you have to do to meet the legal term, but at least write something in our form so that we can get it.
yeah. That's why we try to have these information sessions that are on the letter. So hopefully we can explain it in, more human terms, but
But I suggest you do something in the flow chart for some people who are more visual learning. Like
yeah,
a lot of us. okay?
Yeah. yeah,
And
Oh.
for,
Maybe some other people have questions, huh?
yeah.
just to clarify, the Heritage Hills can't have any of this?
No, you can opt in, but you won't automatically be eligible, so you would have to opt in instead of.
Correct, with this day night. Historically, your meter was day night.
Right.
They're changing the meters. We
Okay.
got a new meter last month. It's a one rate meter.
Right.
We've had Constellation. So my assumption is it'll continue to be Constellation.
Oh, no, it'll switch to Direct. Yeah.
But it still comes through Westchester Power.
Yeah.
And it'll just be full Direct Energy now. But even if we had renewable, it'll default to the standard rate.
Yeah,
And then if we want to change it, we will.
yeah,
But if we already have a one rate meter, we already have Constellation, we will then move automatically to Direct Energy without any action on our part. If we want to change anything, is there a waiting time? In other words, do we have to give a 30-day notice to change?
So if you do it, if you do it before November 15th, then it will happen when the next, on your first meter reads in December. If you do it after that, then there's like a 1 to 2 billing cycle period where for the changes to take effect, just because they can only happen on a meter read date. So it depends when that date is for you and when you're choosing to make that action. But if it's like 3 days before your meter read date, it probably won't be enough time. So it's just,
All right, and can you speak to community solar, or would you rather not?
Yeah, so it depends on your questions, but if you wanted to, or if you're already in community solar,
No, because I decided to do one change at a time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but you can do community solar at the same time as doing Westchester Power. So you'll get like up to 10% off of your bill for the electricity supply, and then you'll still just be with Westchester Power for.
is that through Westchester Power or through a different entity?
It will be through a different entity. So we have a community solar team at Sustainable Westchester, and then there's a bunch of solar
So
farms.
that's on the website.
Yeah, that's on our website.
We work with developers to help subscribe community members like yourself. So we're not building the projects, but we're working in partnership with these developers for those projects to get people signed on.
One of the lines is just down to 5 cents, and it's a monthly rate $9.89.
No, not 9 cents, not 8 cents.
9 cents. 9 cents.
Right.
All right. And are you familiar with that? Verde Energy?
Oh, yeah, so Verde is like a different energy service company. So yeah, they have, I guess, very competitive rates. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm using Verde, and well, my point was that there is another option to this,
Mhm.
which is to search through the different ESCOs and do the research. It's not complicated, but for years now, I've been doing this, and it's consistently less than NYSEG and than Sustainable Westchester. Question I have is there an advantage to the county in terms of building up a power supply that would incentivize me to go with Sustainable Westchester?
Yeah, so well, we have the rates, of course, that are, with the bulk buying power, but when you see Verdes are a bit better, that's, different. But for the next contracting term, we are trying to use sort of a more flexible purchasing model. So I'm not sure how that's gonna like actually play out, but that could hopefully make the prices more competitive for the next contract.
I'll chime in here if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I think I got most of your question and statement there. So yeah, definitely encourage anybody, if you could support renewable energy in the most cost-effective way, do what's best for you. That's awesome. So for our program, what's good, this is we are a community-based organization, right? So everything that we're doing, unlike NYSEG or even I don't want to presume to say what Verde is doing with their money, but everything that we generate in terms of revenue through the program, aside from the administrative costs, is helping support the other stuff we're doing, like our community solar program, and boosting our ability to help get folks subscribed to those. In the long run, with Westchester Power specifically, we are hoping to evolve to a point where we are actually, spurring a lot of that local electricity, renewable energy development here through direct bilateral agreements with developers who, hopefully through the basis of this program, we can go into these ventures and help bring that development directly here to the community, a part of that vision of kind of coalescing the clean energy in our environment directly and boosting the green economy here directly as well. So we're not there obviously today with kind of having a cookie cutter fixed rate option, but we're taking progressive steps to get to that point where, also being in the position of, running this program in partnership with municipalities, trying to bring them along and everybody along to, those next forward steps of how we build grid capacity here locally and, do those things to actually have the green electrons here coming in, directly into our subgrids and being built here and, benefiting us in multifaceted ways. So that is the long-term vision. And obviously we're building towards that today, tomorrow, the next day. So every little bit of participation in that obviously helps us, get to that goal. So hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of a sense that we are trying to bring that benefit and those greater gains to the area.
But I guess I have one more question on this.
Yeah.
If I go with a different company, a different ESCO, will I need to go to Sustainable Westchester and say, I don't want to, that I want to opt out of Sustainable Westchester because Sustainable Westchester is the default? How does that work? Because right now I'm set up with Verde.
Oh yeah, so if you're already with Verde, you won't be enrolled with Westchester Power because you already have a contract with a different energy service company. So we won't like take you out of that or anything. So you won't need to tell us to opt out.
My point of this is that I have consistently been able to get a lower price through different ESCOs than Sustainable Westchester is offering. And I'm a little, I guess, wondering why Sustainable Westchester isn't able to get the very best rates in for, parking out hundreds of thousands of customers.
Yeah,
What was that last part of that question about the 100,000?
yeah, so he's just wondering why Sustainable Westchester isn't able to get, he's been getting very good rates for, well, for the past couple of like.
With
compared to-
Verde, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't know why Sustainable Westchester can't get those rates with the hundreds of thousands of customers.
Yeah. It's a great question because Verde is a little bit of a unique situation because I live in Austining and Con Ed area, and their rates for renewable are terrible. So I don't know what they do in the NYSEG area in order to, have really competitive rates seemingly all the time. They don't come and participate in our auctions either. So I don't know what the reason for that is. Maybe it's very speculative to say why what their situation is, and what enables them to offer really good price and not want to participate in our program. But such is the case. And yeah, like I said, I don't know what it is specifically about the NYSEG area, because if you look on their website for a Con Edison service, it's they're way up there beyond that price. So again, like, encourage folks to do whatever is best for them and find the best, option. But yeah.
Well, it's amazing, take one for you, and I always go 100%. Yeah, was that contract, fixed rate for the year, or is it variable? It's fixed rate. I think mine right now is fixed rate for 6 months. And then also the kind of a page time. I would say calendar December 21. I think they're, my point basically is if you work through the different ESCOs, you can get equally good prices with fixed rate and 100% renewables. So I think there are different options than just NYSEG or Sustainable Westchester.
Yeah, ESCOs have always been an option. ESCOs
Deal to do. Okay. I mean, sometimes it's, it's a small difference. I think one point is like 2 cents a kilowatt hour, which is pretty substantial.
Yeah, and I couldn't speak to the terms of all those contracts. Obviously, that's one thing, that's beneficial about the program too, is you're not in a contract, right, directly. You just have complete flexibility to be in or not be in the program as much as you want and float. There's no cancellation fees or anything like that. So there's a lot of all those things that are kind of present in when you're in a private contract with a company for things that may or may not exist and trip you up along the way if you wanted to cancel or whatnot. But again, something that's beneficial about the program here is there's nothing you're tied into. If you decide, that you don't want to participate, and then later on you decide you do, or vice versa, you start off participating and decide you want to find something better, this is just a free option with no contract or commitments, in that sense, that you have available to you.
Just like the folks, I have the same concern that when I got my letter, I was disappointed. I expected low rates. I went on the computer, in 10 minutes, I was signed up with Verdi, 33% less than their rate, and it's 100% sustainable versus the non-sustainable, 10 cents. It's 9.89 cents now. When I looked in July, when they were doing their RFIs and whatnot, it was under 8 cents, and I wish I did it then. So I can't understand how this is so high compared to, you go on powercenter.com and you can see what these other rates are. Why can't you reach out to them and get them, on this program and get better rates for the hundreds of thousands of families,
Yeah, they might not have. We've reached out to them over the years plenty of times to try and get them to participate. Again, they're the one outlier of all the companies that operate in New York State in our area. That have always had.
Even City Power or something, they were low over the summer when you said you were going through this whole negotiation.
Okay, so they had a period where they were pretty low. I mean, I'd say I'm just speaking to consistency anyway. In terms of Verde, but they probably there's a lot that goes into servicing our aggregations. It takes a lot of operational capacity to commit to. For you all, which is like 8,000, you with the other communities that are part of this aggregation, 8,000 plus accounts, and I don't know why they don't want to participate. Like I said, we've reached out several times over the years. Every time, we do this actually. I think every time we're about to go into solicitation, and they choose not to participate. It could be just a capacity thing. They might not have the ability to supply such a low rate to too many amount of customers. I think there might be some kind of realistic challenges associated with that. We can't just have. That's a challenge for a lot of suppliers. Not all the mom and pops can just come and show up to try and, be a supplier for 95,000 Con Ed customers or something like that. There are challenges associated with kind of scaling that aggregation level to serve our groupings. So, happy to continue or take any feedback on suggestions on how to do that. But to get that interest. But of course, yeah, we'd love to offer better rates anytime we could. It's something, with flexibility. I think we were hitting on this in the future too. As we move into new purchasing models, we're going to try and become more flexible and maybe even the next contract of kind of being able to strike when the markets dip. So, if we do go in with a partially fixed price, maybe if the market dips, over the course of a 12-month, 18-month contract, we can buy, cheaper energy and layer that in so that the price comes down. It would make it less of a fixed rate, so to speak. But ideally we can be taking, that's sort of the first little step we're trying to take with our evolution towards those bigger kind of bilateral energy supply contracts, and bringing renewable energy directly here is this first smaller step of, finding a way to be a little bit more nimble and take advantage of market drops. So that's speaking directly to the price, of course.
I have a question. The rate that you show on the standard.
Hi,
Is that after the approval by the Public Service Commission to give NICEAG 30% increase in their rate?
So yeah, that rate is just for if you're with Westchester Power. So that NICEAG, the 30% increase will go on their delivery charges. So that's the other section of your bill. It's split into the supply and delivery. So there will be increases on that section of your bill as well from this Public Service Commission decision. But the rates that's set, so that counts for everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody online want to try and get back on with the question? I know we've been doing a lot in the room, but feel free to chime in if you have something.
Is there anywhere that I can read more about what's cooking in this Westchester?
Yeah. Oh, you mean like overall?
Yes, because I felt like I'm pretty much don't know what's the anatomy of the bill and
Oh yeah,
how
so
things are working and who's the supplier. Just want to educate myself.
Oh, yeah.
Can I read that?
you can, on our website, we have a whole thing on how to read your bill. It's also on the NICEAG website. They have a thing on how to read your bill too that outlines like all the sections of your bill. So that can help, bye, thank you, have a good night. Like get a better understanding of the charges and everything. Yeah.
Okay, so then I can let it know when he's going with everything.
Oh yeah, I will get that for you. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that's it.
You said this is going to be, it's recorded, so it's going to be available. How? Where?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
It'll be available on our website, and the library will also post it to their YouTube channel. And if you want to have it sent directly to you, you can feel free to contact us, and we're happy to do that as well. If you want the recording or just the slide.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming.
Then it would fit nice and correct it, send it back.
Right. I think it's throw right now. Clean choice. So
Anybody else online have any questions they want to ask? Looks like Angela got pulled off to the side.
Exactly what I'm thinking there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Pleasure. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, you can enroll in it. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, that's community solar. Yeah, so that's when you, subscribe to the solar farm, and you're, producing, and then they'll, when they add a solar farm. And then however much that panel generates, it's not actually, but it goes back to the grid and you kind of, yeah.
Okay, and could that be through any ESCO?
It's not always us, because it's usually like different solar farms, who
But
organize.
do I have to be here to 9 days?
No, we do it.
Okay, and that's called community solar.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I feel like I started to do that at one point, and then my bills just started to. And I but-
Yeah, it's always like 10%, like 8% or so, but. you know,
That's
yeah.
pretty good. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, yeah, something's fine with the computer. Uh-oh. What's your name? My name's Anjali Khanna. It's-
Angelina.
Yeah, it's A-N,
Angelina, like Angelina Jolie, right?
yeah, no, A-N-J-A-L-I. So no,